Imagine a world where something could shake up the entire real estate market, that $300 trillion giant.
Whoa, that's a big idea.
It is.
Yeah.
And today we're diving into how Bitcoin could challenge real estate as like the go-to investment and what that could mean for investors, developers, everyday people like you and me
Yeah.
to get started. Let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
Historically, how did real estate become such a dominant way to store wealth?
Well, it's long been seen as a safe haven, right? Especially during times of inflation. When the cost of goods and services rise, the value of real estate tends to at least hold steady
Right.
or even appreciate.
Yeah, that makes sense, but there's got to be more to it than just inflation, right? I mean,
Yeah.
300 trillion is an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah, you're right. That's where the concept of monetary premium comes in.
Monetary premium, what is that?
So it's the extra value baked into real estate simply because it's considered a reliable hedge against inflation,
That's how-
especially in a world of fiat currency.
Right.
Governments can print more money, which leads to inflation, which can devalue your savings.
Right.
Real estate, on the other hand, is a tangible asset with inherent scarcity.
Okay.
There's only so much land to go around, which contributes to its perceived value.
Okay, so real estate has this like built-in protection against inflation, this monetary premium.
Yeah, you could say that.
So where does Bitcoin fit into all of this?
Well, Bitcoin enters the scene with a completely different proposition.
Okay.
It's entirely digital and operates on a decentralized network.
Okay.
What makes it interesting is its fixed supply.
Mm-hmm.
There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins.
Right.
This limited supply, combined with its growing adoption, has led some to believe that it is a more effective hedge against inflation than real estate.
Interesting. It's like digital gold in a way.
Yeah, you could say that.
Speaking of it, have we seen any data to support this idea? Like, how does Bitcoin's performance actually stack up against traditional real estate?
Yeah, that's the fascinating part. Bitcoin's purchasing power has been growing at an average of 50% annually,
Wow.
which significantly overshadows typical real estate returns, even when you factor in all the financial strategies investors use.
Wow, 50% annually. I wouldn't have guessed it was that
No.
significant.
Yeah, it's a big number.
So does this mean we could see a shift happening? Are people going to start ditching their real estate investments in favor of Bitcoin?
That's the million-dollar question, and it leads us to the concept of real estate demonetization, which is what we'll explore next.
Okay, demonetization. That sounds like a pretty big deal.
It could be.
So what does that actually mean in the context of real estate? Paint me a picture.
Okay, imagine this. Instead of being seen as like the ultimate store of value,
Right.
real estate becomes more about its utility. A place to live to work or, grow your prize-winning tomatoes.
Right. So instead of prices skyrocketing, they'd be driven by, like, how useful a property actually is.
Exactly. It's kind of like what happened with gold. It used to be the foundation of our entire monetary system, but
Right.
once we moved away from the gold standard, its value became more about its industrial uses and less about its role as money.
Okay.
Some experts believe the same thing could happen with real estate.
That's a really interesting parallel.
Yeah.
So how does this potential shift affect real estate developers? It seems like they'd be on the front lines of this change.
Absolutely. For developers, this shift could be a wild ride.
Okay.
On one hand, lower demand for real estate as an investment could mean tougher times. But on the other hand, it presents a huge opportunity for those willing to adapt.
So it's not all doom and gloom for developers.
Not at all. Imagine a developer who recognizes this potential shift
Okay.
and decides to hedge their bets with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They could use it to offset those ever-increasing construction costs, which are always a major concern in the industry.
Can you give me a real-world example? How would that work in practice?
Sure. Let's say a developer is building a new apartment complex. They take out a loan to cover the costs, but at the same time, they decide to put a portion of that money into Bitcoin.
Okay.
Now, if Bitcoin appreciates, as some predict,
Right.
that developer can use those gains to help cover the rising cost of building materials.
Okay.
It acts like a safety net against inflation eating into their profits.
So it's a way to maintain their profit margins, even if the demand for real estate as an investment declines.
Precisely. But it's not just about the developers. This strategy and the overall shift we're discussing could have ripple effects on everyday people looking to buy a home.
So how does this shift in developer strategy translate to actual home prices? Would this make housing more affordable?
That's the potential upside. With less emphasis on real estate as an investment vehicle, we might see a return to quality over quantity.
Okay.
Developers could focus more on building homes that people actually want to live in,
Right.
rather than just flipping them for a quick profit.
Right.
This focus on quality and affordability could lead to more sustainable and equitable housing markets.
That's fascinating. More focus on quality and affordability sounds like a win for everyone, except maybe those looking to get rich quick off flipping houses.
Exactly. But this shift could have even broader implications. We haven't even touched on the potential impact on cities and communities themselves.
Now that you mention it, how would this potential shift from real estate as an investment impact urban planning?
That's a great question. If real estate is less about investment and more about utility, it could fundamentally change how we design and develop urban spaces.
Okay.
We might see a greater emphasis on creating livable, walkable neighborhoods that prioritize community building and sustainability over maximizing profits from high-density developments.
So instead of sprawling suburbs and towering condos marketed as investments, we might see more emphasis on creating vibrant and affordable communities designed for long-term living.
Precisely. This shift could lead to a resurgence in urban planning that prioritizes the well-being of residents and the overall health of the city. Imagine cities designed to be more sustainable, equitable, and resilient, with a focus on green spaces, public transportation, and affordable housing options.
That's a really compelling vision.
Yeah.
It seems like this potential shift in how we view real estate could have ripple effects far beyond just individual investors or even the market itself. It could reshape how we live and interact with our cities.
Absolutely. It all boils down to this. We might be on the verge of a monumental shift in how wealth is built, perceived, and even passed down through generations. And this goes way beyond just real estate. It has the potential to reshape our relationship with value itself.
So whether you're an experienced investor, a first-time homebuyer, or just someone who lives in a city, this is something to keep on your radar.
Without a doubt, this isn't just about financial portfolios. It's about the future of our communities and how we choose to live in the world. If real estate isn't the be-all and end-all of investments, what ripple effects could that have on other aspects of our lives? That's the question I want to leave you with.
That's a great question to ponder. A huge thanks to you for guiding us through this deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on real estate and its potential future. And to everyone listening, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We encourage you to explore this topic further and form your own opinions. After all, understanding these potential shifts could be crucial in navigating the future, whether you're planning your next investment or simply imagining the future of your city.